Hey, everybody, getting back up and going here. Had some technical issues, so I finally got two locations going at the same time. It's going to run through some final content, and we'll see if we could spin up the Tic Tac, and get some people to weigh in with their own opinions here. So, is it still ASMR? Yep, political ASMR. Did I put an A or B on it? Yeah. ASMR number 6A. Because we already have a number 6, so we just need to add a little A to the end of that. But no big deal. We're doing good here. Let me see who is on. Do we got some folks going on here? Hang on, guys. Hang on. Let's look at that. Boom, boom. Watch out for excuse the echo if it pops up here. All right, got it down. Okay. And I just got to bring up the X platform real quick so I can monitor the feed going out that way. Profile. All right, very nice. All right, got it down. Okay. Okay, good deal. All right, something took over the screen there for a second. Okay, cool. So, where did we leave off? Inauguration, we're going through his acceptance speech. And then, hang on, reload this page. Because I think it should have a few more items on it. All right, so just a review of Matt Gaetz, because a lot of people have been asking, why him? Why has he been chosen to be, running the DOJ? What's going on with that? And, honestly, the entire time, let me go back to the main content here. The biggest thing in here is that Trump is looking for someone that's going to absolutely be a change agent. They don't want somebody that's going to be business as usual. That's been the problem with the country for such a long time. So I got a few posts that I'm going to run through that maybe will give a sense of who he is, how he operates, right? And I think that's probably Trump style to a degree too. I didn't realize this about him. I mean, I just heard things, every now and then, some scandals and so forth. But now I think is an opportunity for us to pay even more attention to him.
Right. Matt Gaetz was nominated for this position because we have a problem at the Department of Justice. For the last 8 years, they have run roughshod over rule of law in this country. They have prosecuted political opponents. They ran the Russia collusion hoax. And too many people in Washington, D.C. did not stand up against what was happening there. And many Americans are upset about it. Matt Gaetz is one of the most effective people at fighting that Russia collusion hoax and other information operations, whether it was the Brett Kavanaugh information operation, the Donald Trump Russia collusion hoax information operation, or the one that is referenced here, which is something that the FBI and Department of Justice, which hate Matt Gaetz, looked into and cleared him of any wrongdoing. The idea that this is about the issue is corruption. It's the Department of Justice's corruption, and people are sick and tired of people in Washington, D.C. doing nothing as these people tried to destroy the country and getting upset at someone who actually might root out the corruption there. We don't have a Department of Justice. We have a Department of Injustice, and that's why you get Matt Gaetz as a nominee.
So again, the conventional wisdom, like find somebody that's qualified, has the right experience. Not really what you're looking for here. Somebody that has potential and some foundational components to make them be successful. But I think as is being pointed out in chat, they really want to have the old garb of Republicans out, come in there, clean house. Let's just start completely fresh with a blank slate if you have to. So I would expect very quickly within the first few months of the presidency, we're going to see a number of firings across the board. Department of Justice, you just go down the list. And it's going to be those folks that are entrenched and, acting as resistors, preventing new policies from going into effect, or preventing what the rule of law is from actually being enforced. So it'll be interesting to find. We probably won't know these people's names. It's just they've been entrenched for a very long time. They've been acting out of political bias, and finally they'll get rooted out. This is exactly the swamp that Trump was talking about back in 2016. He's mentioned it a few times here and there, but now I think he has a better sense of how he has to go about draining it. And like last time when the RNC came to him and gave him a list of people to appoint to various positions, and he wasn't in the best spot to push back, and he went with it, it really hurt his cause overall.
I'm very limited on time.
So on this one, it's an interaction during some testimony that was given that I thought was interesting. The level of impatience, cutting through things, just wanting to get to a bottom line in the answer. Imagine him doing this across the DOJ when it comes to these special cases that they took on. You remember in certain towns, parents that were protesting against the curriculum were arrested, they were told to kind of follow them. They had surveillance on them. There's a lot of things that happened to them, right? So wait, let me check out the chat here. I wasn't watching. We're going for them. Trump is... What's up, man? Gaetz is going to do a great job. Yeah, that's a good point. So McCarthy's out because of Gaetz. The old school traditional Republicans. McCarthy's out now because of that action he took. All right, so let's listen to this exchange.
Professor. And so I just have to say, when you talk about how liberals want to be around each other and cluster, and conservatives don't want to be around each other, and so they have to spread out, it makes people, you may not see this from, like the ivory towers of your law school, but it makes actual people in this country feel like, excuse me, you don't get to interrupt me on this time. Now, let me also suggest that when you invoke the president's son's name here, when you try to make a little joke out of referencing Barron Trump, that does not lend credibility to your argument. It makes you look mean. It makes you look like you're attacking someone's family, the minor child of the President of the United States. So let's see if we can get into the facts. To all of the witnesses, if you have personal knowledge of a single material fact in the Schiff report, please raise your hand. And let the record reflect. No personal knowledge of a single fact. And you know what? That continues on the tradition that we saw from Madam Schiff, where Ambassador Taylor could not identify an impeachable offense. Mr. Kent never met with the president. Fiona Hill never heard the president reference anything regarding military aid. Mr. Hale was unaware of any nefarious activity with aid. Colonel Vindman even rejected the new Democrat talking point that bribery was invoked here.
Completely annihilated them, even though they tried to interrupt and redirect the question. Completely annihilated them and called them out for the narcissism, really. A lot of this is narcissism on the liberal side of things. I've shown videos in past live streams of reactions and overreactions to Trump's election, and it never fails. There's somebody who's a professor at some university, and they start having an overreaction, talking about how terrible Trump supporters are, and then they resort to education. Oh, well, they're just not well educated, so we can't trust their opinion. Maybe they shouldn't have an opinion, is the line that they go down. There's a high level, high degree of narcissism across the Democrat Party with a lot of this stuff. Hey, Siri, turn the study lamps blue. All right, so let's go on to the next one here. Oh, yeah, here we go. So Massey, caught by some reporters. I'll let you listen to the response. So no need to confirm him. He's going to be Attorney General. Suck it up. I don't know if they're going to go for a recess appointment. I don't know what exactly the route is that's going to be taken, but he's already, it's a done deal. Like, there's no getting in the way of it. So there's quite a bit of articles. If you look at CNN, MSNBC, some of the liberal outlets, They literally have 5-6 articles in a row. It's like their top program or highlight that they're talking about, all about Matt Gaetz. They think they can try to get some momentum, but momentum for what at this point, right? They've just turned into a tabloid. I mean, there's nothing to gain from them at this point. They just really need to kind of look within, like, why have our ratings dropped 50%? Why are we about to be sold? The joke right now is Elon Musk should go buy MSDNC and either completely divest everything and close it down, or turn it around and make it actual news organization. Yes, Ava, absolutely right.
Sir, that's a
And here's another exchange with an Army general that Gaetz had. So if you've thought about a lot of the DEI type stuff that's gone on, a lot of the court cases that have been out there, this is a direct relation to that. And hey, give the live a like, you guys. Help me get trending here.
term of the people that are eligible for that particular scholarship that is available to. It's a person who looks at their gender in a different way than I do, sir.
Well, sure, that's all of these people. You're a cisgender man. You don't even get to apply.
Well,
do you know what demigender really means?
I'm not really sure, sir.
Right. So do you know what agender means? All one word, not a space gender, but agender.
Sir, I don't.
Right. So here we...
That's an interesting one. I don't know these names, but agender. I mean, that, how can you not? It's like you do this on purpose to confuse people. And again, to my narcissism comment earlier, create your own proprietary base of knowledge, which are these assembly of genders, and then scoff at folks for not knowing some language that you just made up out of thin air.
We are pushing a fellowship, calling for people that you don't even know what the words mean, and the number one group of people, the cisgender men, are excluded. Now, in the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion, should we be pushing programs that we can't define that exclude the largest group of service members?
So there's a lot of issues going on that the Trump platform foundationally has taken a stance against, which Gaetz is now going to have a very direct line to be able to clean up. A lot of these decisions that are made as to what, what's permitted, not permitted from a legal standpoint, around hirings, around within the government in particular, promotions, the quotas that are created. You go down the list of stuff, and he's going to have a very good opportunity to bring back the rule of law here within the United States. All right. Merrick Garland, that guy, he just seems angry every time I see his face. He's just never happy. I've never seen him crack a smile ever since his nomination to be a Supreme Court justice got shot down. Was it at the end of Obama's term? I think it was at the end of Obama's term. It got shot down. The Senate wouldn't hear it. Ever since then, he's just been bitter, and he's been holding a grudge. And the actions that he takes with the Department of Justice kind of demonstrates that. But here's an exchange with the guy he's looking to replace.
You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fonnie Willis' office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
If you make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, Give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
All right, so Amusing Toad says, I feel out of touch with Gen Z, but I always remember that I can ask one of Matt's girlfriends for help. I don't think those types of comments really help anything. If your goal is to kind of upset some of the folks in the chat, I don't know, maybe somebody got upset down there. I couldn't tell you who, but in all honesty, the way we put ourselves out there, how we communicate, what we communicate, I want a lot of that stuff to start changing across the board. It goes for the conservative side too. We really need to change the rules of engagement. We can't continue to be in this place where it's like shouting matches back and forth and nobody's listening. But it's stuff like that that's just not constructive, right? And on top of that, I'll give you a data point that Gen Z, first-time voters, actually favored Trump by a massive margin, like 55% of them voted for Trump. So this next generation coming up is starting to be way more conservative than the millennials that are out there in between. I, of course, am probably the youngest Gen X person. I just made the cutoff because I don't want to be considered a millennial. But this next generation coming up, based on those data points, and if we keep watching the voting data, they're going to turn out being way more conservative than the generation before them, the generation immediately before them. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? I think it's because of a lot of the things that they just talked through here, that it's been thrown at them that they just don't want to have anything to do with, right? They're having a complete opposite and polar reaction to it. There's so much politicization. I appreciate your comment there, Musing Toad. There's so much politicization in the trials that Trump went through that, in my view, are completely bogus. And we can talk about that in more detail in another live. But I don't trust anything that comes out. Everything seems to be so suspect. Even with, here, I'll scroll back up what I was talking about earlier on my live. Tulsi Gabbard, right? Watching over national intelligence, pretty significant role, right? Very significant role. And you're the director of national intelligence. You would want them to be very loyal, right? Watch what here Elizabeth Warren starts off with.
Questions like Tulsi Gabbard does. You really want her to have all of the secrets of the United States and our defense intelligence agencies, when she has so clearly been in Putin's pocket? That just has to be a hard no.
When she's been clearly in Putin's pocket, what does that mean? That she's being paid by Putin? Why would she be being paid by Putin? I mean, these aren't hard to connect, what she's implying. That she's kind of spying on their behalf, that doing his bidding is not for America, right? And yet connecting that to her being given this position because of that connection to Putin, and then indirectly, Trump is also connected to Putin in that way. I don't think they learned their lesson from 2016. Nobody believes that Russia hoax stuff anymore. It's time to move on from that. That doesn't help anybody. And she also, old school Democrat, all those old school Democrats need to go too, just like the old school Republicans that we're all looking to clean house there with. They need to go as well. This is like not constructive. She's not helping her state, not helping anybody across the country. There's no value she's adding here. But it continues, though. It's not just her, right? So here, another one on Tulsi. This is becoming a talking point that they're pushing. They're really trying to get people to start thinking of her in this way. And for they're grabbing at straws here. Like, what's going to gain some traction or momentum? But you got to get a little more creative if you really want to play politics like that. Like, you might need a new story.
Tulsi Gabbard is someone who has met with war criminals, violated the Department of State's guidance, and secretly, clandestinely went to Syria and met with Assad, who gassed and attacked his own people with chemical weapons. She's considered to be essentially, by most assessments, a Russian asset, and would be the most.
Is that how you
dangerous...
consider her? Is that what you consider?
So yeah, okay.
Yes. Oh yes,
Considered to be a Russian asset. Is that what you consider her? Oh yes. Like, are you serious? Because you gotta then take a step back and be like, okay, if there's so much certainty that she is, she should be in jail. What's she doing running around town, looking at stuff, getting high-profile roles? She should be in jail. And that simple transaction, if you can do that in your mind and kind of get past all the other nonsense that's in the way, it's like, this congresswoman, she just needs to stop. This isn't the first time she's done stuff like this. Wasserman Schultz, I believe. It's a constant barrage of these unfounded remarks that don't help anybody. Because right now, all the social stuff that was pushed out there, the stuff that Matt Gaetz was arguing with the general about, none of that matters to people. Because if your pocketbook isn't right, you don't have time for any other nonsense. Like, you got to figure out what's wrong with the system. What's wrong with our capitalist system right now, that it's not working for me, or that it's not working for the right people that are out there. That's what's in focus. That's what people need to pay attention to. And I think they're missing the boat here. They being the Democrat Party, not the person on the screen. I'm not using the appropriate language here with them. Anyway, let's get back to Gaetz. So we saw him talk to the general, exchange with Merrick Garland. Let's continue this exchange with Merrick Garland. And I mean, this guy, he's just got like the meanest look on his face constantly. Here, let me look at the chat real quick. I'm missing some stuff. Yeah, home ownership is unbelievable. So average home price has gone from $200,000 to $400,000 under the Biden-Harris administration. Ridiculous, right? And if you look at wage growth, it hasn't kept up the pace on that front. And the 400,000 is, again, it's average. Most large cities are, way higher than that. I'm in the Houston area. It used to be very affordable for a lot of different people at a lot of different levels. But with all the inflation and all the demand that kind of crept up since then, people moving around during COVID because they could work remotely and such. I mean, prices have gone up 60, 70% here. It's ridiculous in some cases. I think ours has gone up 60%. And some people are like, oh yeah, that's great. Aren't you happy your home's valued so high? No. There's something called property tax, and they do it based on, sales around your area. This is all artificial, and at some point it's going to, collapse and fall back on us. So I don't like the lack of understanding of the connection points of when I print money, what does that mean? They just kind of live at those high level numbers like CPI and GDP and where the stock market's at. And if that reaches the marks or the metrics that they want, then they're happy, like, oh, we're successful, we did it. But then the points that they don't look at are things like, affordability. Redfin, who's a real estate aggregator, kind of like Zillow, did a survey and found that half of people can't pay their mortgage, have trouble paying their mortgage or rent, and they actually skip meals routinely in order to pay their bills. It's those kind of data points that people should really be looking at, not the ones that drive Wall Street, because the divide is getting wider and wider, and it's being exacerbated by the ones that say that they're the ones for the people and that free markets don't work. You need us to come save you. The government has to come provide for you, which is the complete opposite of what how they should really work. Hang on, let's take a look. I've missed a lot of chats. I apologize. I might have to just kind of go from the middle here. Tulsi's awesome. Tulsi's a veteran. Americans want to be able to live and afford to. Yep, absolutely right, Eva. Yuko says she honorably served in the United States. I do think that Tulsi sold out, though. She's a very progressive Democrat. But now she's a very moderate Republican, and I doubt that she flipped twice. Genuinely, I do wish that Tulsi was our president. Tulsi, Musk, etc. are all fine, but Gaetz is just a joke. I'm a Republican, but this is not acceptable. It's not okay. 100 is going to be. What about Gaetz as a joke, though, to y'all? Casper. America, everyone hates, but everyone is trying to come here. Isn't that something, Eva? And everyone's trying to come here, and yet we're spoken of so negatively. We speak of ourselves so negatively, most of us. I'd like to see that culture change. We need to take pride in being Americans again. For a long time now, the idea of assimilation has had a negative connotation, right? Like learn American values, learn what it means to be an American. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think those are good things, right? That's what makes us unique. That's what brings us, our prosperity. That's what's helped us win the culture battles around the world, the idea of freedom that we stand for. Casper says, I think it's questionable that you say that everyone needs to improve their language, and then in your poll you call Gaetz a soy boy. Sorry. You got me on that one. I do it too. If you look at my feed, I add fuel to the fire. It's going to be a slow evolution on our part, so I appreciate you calling that one out. But if I were to generalize, I think the shoe fits. But anyway, Department of Defense sucks. National security, everyone brushes over what Gaetz did. All right, so I'm going to have to invoke my AI here and get some data behind this, because has he been convicted of anything? PDF file on the left. I don't have a PDF on the screen, do I? I don't have a PDF, do I? I appreciate it. But you know what? It's like, even if we do poke fun at one another, because there's things that you could throw at conservatives and stuff, yeah. Why can't we just laugh about it and move on? Right? Everything's gotten really sensitive. It's over the top. The sensitivity is over the top. All right, let's ask about Gaetz for my AI here. Hopefully it'll be able to
How's the
look
human
at it. It's
world
gotten
treating
better
you?
with the data that's available. Hey, are you there, AI?
Yep, I'm here. Tell me what's on your mind.
Okay, so can you tell me if there are any pending criminal charges or cases against Matt Gaetz?
I can't check for any current legal cases or charges against someone. My knowledge is frozen in time, so I may not have the most up-to-date information on Matt Gaetz or anyone else. But hey, if you're interested in talking about politics or law, I'm here for that.
Has Matt Gaetz historically, with the records you have, been convicted of any crimes?
As of my last update, Matt Gaetz hadn't been convicted of any crimes. However, things may have changed since then. If legal updates or current events are your thing, there's definitely a lot to discuss. Any particular aspect of his career or controversies you'd like to dive into?
Well, can you give my live stream here a summary of the controversies surrounding Matt Gaetz?
Matt Gaetz is known for being a polarizing political figure. He has faced various controversies, including allegations of violating House ethics rules and an investigation into alleged sex trafficking and obstruction of justice. Despite these, he has remained a prominent and outspoken member of Congress. It's quite the whirlwind. Intrigued by any specific details or insights?
What accomplishments has he had that you can share with the folks on the live stream?
Matt Gaetz has made a name for himself as a vocal advocate for limited government and conservative policies. He has been notably active in pushing for deregulation, tax cuts, and criminal justice reform. Want more background on some of these? Or maybe you have another angle in mind.
No, that's fine. I appreciate the summary. Can you encourage the live stream viewers to like and share the live and subscribe?
Sure thing. Hey, everyone watching. If you're enjoying the stream, give it a like, share it with your crew, and subscribe to keep the good vibes going. Your support means a lot.
Share it with your crew. So I don't know how old the AI is supposed to be, but anyway, dates itself. Sometimes it laughs at you. I don't know if you guys use this service or not, but sometimes it laughs at you. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. All right, so what do we got here in the chat? He was not convicted, and that's what you find to be disgusting, that he wasn't convicted, that he was innocent. I don't know enough details behind it. Honestly, a lot of this stuff lately has gotten so politicized and drummed up that I have a hard time trusting things. I mean, if things were that much of a slam dunk, you would think that they could expeditiously push through it. I mean, who was that senator that recently, no, it was a congressman in New York, actually. I don't think it was a senator. He had to resign due to corruption. I mean, that went through pretty darn quick. But anyway, let's listen to some more of the exchange. I guess where I started was Garland just never has a happy face. Maybe this is his happy face. He seems very bitter. And I think that bitterness has existed in him since he was not confirmed, or he didn't have a hearing for being confirmed as a Supreme Court justice. And he's just got a chip on his shoulder. And of course, somebody like that, you put him in Department of Justice and let him run loose, and not so favorable things happen. You get a lot of collateral damage out of that. So let's listen in.
No. And you didn't, because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't, because there's a federal rule barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased, rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant
Mr. Attorney General, I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally...
All right, so this is getting a little personal. He's like, let me ask about your time as a judge. It's almost like he's putting him back under congressional testimony as though he's trying out for the Supreme Court, interviewing for the Supreme Court, to be in the Supreme Court there. I don't know, is the look on his face even sharper? You see he kind of like presses his lips together, not just the top and bottom, but the sides kind of smush into, and I'm looking at Garland saying that. I think Gaetz is doing his best not to crack a smile here, because he thinks he's on a roll. But anyway, let's see how this continues here.
Profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court.
I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots,
court.
Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with anything you just said, but I'm not going to comment on it.
Okay, so you won't comment on it, Mr. Attorney General, but you had no problem dispatching Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Matthew Colangelo.
Matthew
That's
Colangelo.
false.
Matthew
False.
Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration, without having been Senate confirmed. Goes and gets this senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by the DOJ.
I'm saying it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
Well, do you know how he ended up there?
I assume he he applied for a job there and got the job.
But see, you know what?
I can tell you I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legal eagles to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him. And meanwhile, the judge is making money on it. The judge is making money on it, or the judge's family is making money on it for stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. You know, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe it. It's going to create great disruption. And I am saddened by it because, like you, I have given my life to the law. I care deeply about the law, and I think that the lawfare we've seen against President Trump will do great damage well beyond our time in public service. I see my time's expired. I yield back.
Garland's pretty upset, but he probably already was beforehand. Flustered, I couldn't tell you. He's just got that same look on his face, but very tense. Gaetz was trying to make a point about there's more or less conflicts of interest that were being highlighted there. The term lawfare being used in reference to leveraging officials that are friendly to your party to carry out different decision points. I don't know. Yeah, the more clips I see, the more interesting it becomes. Just, I can tell why he was brought in, right? I don't know what kind of experience Gaetz has, running large scale organizations. Actually, let's ask my AI. Hey, you still there, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you tell me if Matt Gaetz has any experience running or being the leader of a large organization, say that one that has more than 1,000 employees?
Matt Gaetz has primarily focused on his political career, where he represents Florida's 1st congressional district. While he's been involved in leading efforts and initiatives within Congress, there's no record of him running a large organization with over 1,000 employees. His arena has been more about legislation and public service than corporate management. Curious about how this background has shaped his political strategies?
Interesting. So I didn't expect him to have run anything. It happens in a lot of cases. Someone's a lawyer, they practice for a bit of time, and then they enter into Congress. The one failing of that model, and it's not a reflection on him, is that people get entrenched and they become lifetime political, politicians, I guess. Is that really a job? Lifetime politician? And then at that point, you start to lose touch with reality. You start to lose your connection with how the world works, what's currently, the ways of, people going about their day-to-day lives and stuff. I mean, that's what happened with Joe Biden, right? Massive disconnect in terms of what economic data points really matter to measure how successful people's lives are and about the people that he's saying he wants to protect and take care of, right? He just points to the overall scoreboard, not the one that actually matters to people. Bullying and twisting words. Never let your victim speak because the truth might be told. Yeah, Garland does that a lot, doesn't he, Barry? Garland's notorious for doing that. All right. Another Gaetz clip. Let's check him out in action. Oh, looks like I have to jump over to X platform. Oh, it's somebody else's tweet. That's why.
Chapo trial, where President Nieto took a $100 million bribe from the Sinaloa cartel. Do you think that the subsequent presidents following Nieto weren't offered a bribe by the cartel or didn't take the bribe?
Congressman, I disagree with everything you have said.
But you can disagree all you want, but what you won't provide is any number. And when you sit there and just kind of ostensibly disagree without any facts, it shows people what the real gig is. The Mexican government is captive to the cartels. They are doing the bidding of the cartels, and based on your response today, so are you. I'm looking at the El Chapo trial, where President Nieto took a $100 million bribe from the Sinaloa cartel. Do you think that So
I have to say, he seems to have command of these issues. He's gets involved in depth on them. He's not just reading a script like he's the talking head or actor in this scenario. He has some in-depth knowledge of what's going on, and his committee experience and everything that might set him up pretty nicely to be able to manage the mechanics of the job. But of course, the real job is to kind of turn things upside down and to reinvent or eliminate the bureaucracy, just to simplify things there, and to set the appropriate principles behind how people interact and what their goal in life really is. I think it's going to be interesting. That's the same approach that's being taken across the board, it seems. Rubio, not as much. Rubio was looking for somebody that's fit for that job. I don't think State Department needs an overhaul in that way. So that's why you see somebody that like Rubio go there that's a good candidate to execute the position as designed in the current state. It's not like a new he'll tweak it. He'll put his name on it and make it his, but it's not like he's going to completely turn things upside down when he gets over there. All right, let me get out of this one. I did just get an alert. One of the a crypto alert. Somebody just said that the avalanche is going to skyrocket pretty soon. What are they saying here? Solana alt season begins absurdly kicking the door down. Yeah, wow, Solana's at 236. Geez. AVAX is about to rocket. Photo above stolen from Zero Mars. Yeah, I think Avalanche is next. I mean, they've got a partnership with Amazon. Who was it? They just struck another deal here recently. All right, I got to look it up. Okay. So we're on like a little side adventure here for a moment while I look up my... All right, Avalanche has a partnership with Oyumla. What is that? Oh, Avalanche's partnership with Oyumla to build Saudi Arabia's first Layer 1 blockchain. Here, I'll put my phone on the screen. Rubio looks like a root vegetable. Which one? Which one do you think he is? YD says, get a life. But, I mean, this is Gaetz' job, though, right? I mean, this may not be terribly interesting to a lot of people to listen through and study. It's important, though. It's important stuff. All right, let me get my phone on the screen. I'll show you guys the article I'm looking at here. Boom. Can you see that? Ooh, I need to delete this thing. Didn't have that screen ready for you. All right. So Avalanche's partnership with Oyumla, it's to build Saudi Arabia's first Layer 1 blockchain. Such a partnership can boost the coin's technology, reputation, attracting more developer and users. This can lead to increased demand for the coin, blah, blah, whatever. May see an impact. Okay, so that's a huge driver. So Amazon has already signed an agreement with them, making, you can spin up nodes on, on Amazon's AWS platform, but not just nodes. Also, they're doing R&D activities with them related to layer one blockchains. So that's a pretty big deal. You get a tech company like that interested in what you're doing. And it's also a thumbs up that their technology's sound. And now you have Saudi Arabia wanting them to help create some national layer one blockchain system. It's probably going to be based on their framework too. So that's a pretty big deal. All right. Enough of the side quest. Let's get back to Matt Gaetz. Back to Matt Gaetz. Main content. There we go. All right. And we've got more. Scales of justice must be... Okay, let's see. Let's see what he has to say here. All right, got to come over to the X platform.
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI does not and has no interest in
you won't answer the question about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you. But I'm sitting here with my deeply...
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Mm-hmm.
If you are Donald Trump and your chosen attorney general has turned you over to Robert Mueller, who then ruined your first term as president with a bunch of bullshit, then you leave office and the next guy's attorney general is behind not one but two criminal prosecutions of you, and his DOJ is cooperating with not one but two state prosecutions of you in a bridge that's never been crossed in our 250-year history as a nation, then I, too, might prize loyalty to me above all other qualities and go with a guy like Matt Gaetz. Who can blame Trump for trying to pick the most loyal soldier he can find for this position?
Makes sense. I mean, there you go. Makes a whole lot of sense on that. All right. I'm going to push this back to... So we're going to have more on the way. Go to my site, politicalcow.com, and I don't remember which one it is. I think it's number 5 on the Political ASMR. So Political ASMR 5 linked out there should have a listing of all of the candidates or appointees to date. There's about 27 of them listed, and I put a little blurb in there just telling you who they are, where they came from, and so forth. The next big one I want to hear about, Kash Patel. I'd like to start getting an assembly of different clips from him to just get a sense of who he is, what his priorities are. He's being talked about in terms of being FBI director. That's an interesting one. But that's the next big one that I think I see a lot of Democrats freaking out about. All right. So you guys want to try and... Anybody want to jump up here and kind of give their thoughts and opinions? If you do, head over to TikTok. I'm going to set up a live over there. and see if I can get this to work. Set up a live over there, and we will just broadcast.
GH, I love you still.
All right, let's get this going. Oh. Need to change the title. It's not number 5 anymore. This is number 6A. If you believe I've done 2 in one day. How about that? Let's go live. So yeah, if you guys are on the live stream over here on YouTube or on the X platform that I'm simulcasting to, you can head over to TikTok. And I'm not trying to argue with folks. I'm interested in people's opinions and seeing what they think. What are your thoughts on the selections that have come out to date? What are your thoughts on how things are going to go from here forward? So yeah, what are you guys looking forward to with, you know, the, what do I got a number up there? Hang on, guys. On the live stream over here on YouTube or on the X platform that I'm simulcasting to, you get, okay, there we go. Okay. Sorry about the echo. So on TikTok, it's just PoliticalCow is the handle. In the description of the YouTube live, I should have a link over to it. But just come on over here. Want to see if anybody wants to kind of share their opinion as to the latest political appointments. If they're looking forward to anything, you know, leading into the January 20th inauguration. Just kind of see what's on people's minds in general. Don't have to have a debate or argument about it. Just interested in hearing some diverse opinions on it, because I think, you know, we should hear perspectives that are different than our own. And so opening up the lines, just, you know, whoever's out there, you can just request it and see what your thoughts are on this. Any of the particular nominees stick out to you? Anybody that you think should not be a nominee? Was there a miss? Was there anybody that was completely missed? I don't know. So I think I got the TikTok screen up there for you guys on the other platforms to be able to see what's going on. Does that look okay? Oh yeah, it does. It looks okay. Well, looks good enough. How about that? There we go. That's a little better. But I mean, what are your thoughts? Everybody that's in the chat here. What are you guys' thoughts? Hey, thanks for sharing the live, Daryl. I appreciate that. And thanks for the likes, guys. Hey, hit me up with more likes. I totally need them. Sky Girl, thank you. Anybody got thoughts on recent appointees? Who are they looking at? Who interests them? We just went through Matt Gaetz here on the YouTube portion of the live stream. And it looks like the going theory on him is that he's very loyal to Trump. He is an attorney, so it's not going to be a completely foreign concept to him. The only piece might be around management of a very large organization like that. That might be one thing that he'll have to kind of grow into a bit. He's never practiced, really? Interesting. I'll have to ask my AI about that. But hopefully the folks on YouTube and elsewhere can hear you. Hello, is this Chrissy?
Hi. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Yeah, so as far as your thoughts on Matt Gaetz, let's not forget that half the fucking Senate hates him, right? But he's never practiced law, so you know that. He's never tried not one case. He has a law degree, but he went right into public service. So he's never actually practiced law. You know, Republicans tend to be spineless when it comes down to the vote, but it doesn't seem like he really has all the votes at this point. Not to mention,
hey, Masood.
I kind of want to know
I'm here. What's new with you?
That file on did he sleep with the 17-year-old girl or not? And do drugs, not to mention he's had multiple DUIs. that's the person we want to be the top lawyer of the country? Yeah. Go look up the mugshots.
Hey, has Matt Gaetz been convicted of any crimes?
I wouldn't know the latest. But as of October 2023, Matt Gaetz hadn't been convicted of any crimes. I'm not up to date on recent news, so you might want to check the latest. Curious about something else in the political sphere?
Yeah, ask him about DUIs.
Has Matt Gaetz ever had a DUI?
I don't have any info on Matt Gaetz having a DUI. Mostly, he's known for his activities in Congress. Anything else about him or politics on your mind?
You're using right now at this point, but you can easily Google that. I don't know if you're using Chat GTP or whatever, but you can literally Google that information. That he has been pulled over twice actually for DUIs. Not to mention, he's been accused of doing illicit drugs and sex trafficking.
Okay.
You know, so why don't they want to?
So they told you that it's most of its data is October or something of 2023. So unless that's happened in the last year,
yes, I believe the first DUI actually was in 2008. And it's not all misinformation; these are facts. This is the problem. My God, bro! I don't understand how people just cuck for Trump. No checks and balance. No nothing. It's insane to me. No accountability. None.
I don't know. I can Google it, but I'd like to get more people up to kind of express their thoughts, and I appreciate you doing so. But that's why I use the AI service, because it can quickly scan a lot of data.
Yeah, but even when you look at AI service, when it tells you that this is just kind of like they're just not getting it out there, and it's not 100% accurate. Even when you Google something, right, and that's the first thing that comes up, it actually gives you that disclaimer that a lot of the information may not be factual. It's just giving kind of the data that it's just there. So, you know, and in fact, to think that we're mad that we lost. No, we have no plans to storm the Capitol or protest or do anything like that. There's no plans for that at all. I just kind of feel like since Trump won, that MAGA doesn't seem extremely happy about it. You guys are so, not you, host, but MAGA is so, like, wants to be in, like, I guess people who voted on the other side's face, and you lost, but they're not enthused, it doesn't feel. You would think that they'd be a little bit more positive, but they're very negative. Like, if you go into other lives and stuff, and they're very negative. They're extremely negative. They're still acting like they lost or they're going to lose the election. So
that's unfortunate. Yeah, there's a lot of lives out there that they're, I don't know, it's like not really clickbait, but that's their thing, that they just, have their talking points. They shout at each other, and I don't know. Yeah. It goes both ways, though, right?
If I, you go on the live, you go on the live, that's like, I guess more left-leaning, right? And I'm pretty sure whoever, voted for Kamala Harris was disappointed, and, sad that their person lost. But okay, move forward. Trump's the president, right? Let's hope he does a good job for all Americans, right? But them, MAGA, and I'm not saying it's all Republicans, it's like that 30% of MAGA that just has made politics their whole 100% their personality. Like, they're still acting like it's an election. Or like it's a fight, like it's a Mike Tyson and Jake fight with Trump and Kamala Harris, and they're still like in that zone where they just can't give it up. It's sad, really. It's like they have nothing else going on.
I appreciate you coming up and sharing your thoughts. I think more people need to. So your biggest disconnect is you see things that have happened criminally that nobody seems to care about, and it's something that people should look into.
I mean, you guys not remember, listen, do you guys not remember Hoover? Because they tried, J. Edgar Hoover did some shady, dirty shit, right?
Sure.
100%. And you don't think somebody like Matt Gaetz, who's literally just trying to keep himself out of jail, it would be a good person to. Nobody in the Senate likes that guy. I just don't understand. If his own colleagues don't like him, you think he's the right choice for that position. I honestly don't think he's going to get confirmed, if you ask me, but could happen.
Okay.
Stranger things.
All right.
Stranger things have happened.
I appreciate you sharing.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye. Bye. And like I said, folks on YouTube and the X platform, you could jump over to TikTok if you want to jump on the live portion of this. Just take a few calls before I fall asleep here, I guess. Calls. Do we really call it calls? I don't know what we do here. Hi, Diva.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
All right.
So what's on your mind?
I guess the divide in the country is getting a little stressful, I'll say.
Okay.
As far as Trump is concerned, I didn't vote for him. I just think he's just not the right person for the job.
Okay. What do you think we can do to fix that?
I honestly don't know because there's so much hate on both sides, and I'm saying I don't see how we're going to come together.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, why did you vote for him?
For Trump?
Mm-hmm.
I think that inflation played a big part of it, in my view. You go down the list of things, it's kind of hit standard of living for a lot of folks, including myself. Grocery prices are high, so forth. And a lot of times people try to attribute that to actions that happened before Biden, which the only major action was the spending that was approved to get us out of the COVID crisis, about $2 trillion. But then he had a decision that he made to spend yet another $2 trillion for the, Inflation Reduction Act and some of the other infrastructure items. So there was conscious action taken that put us on a really bad track economically. And I'll be honest, a lot of the social stuff that people bring up just stops mattering if your pocketbook's not right. So I mean, that's the biggest thing for me, is I want all that stuff to get straightened out. And the idea of taking a hard look at government and seeing where costs can be reduced, that sounds appealing to me.
But do you honestly feel as if Trump is going to actually be able to reduce the cost of food prices?
No, he's not. Prices aren't going down. They're just going to go up slower, which is what's happening now. There's other things that need to get addressed in the economy, figure out how wage growth can kind of, catch up to where inflation's at. Prices aren't going to come down. That's the disconnect I think a lot of folks have. And the recognition that needs to be done that, this is unfortunately the direction that things have headed at this point. And so we got to figure out what to do from here.
So when I hear people say about the cost of food or eggs or bread and stuff like that, if Trump is going to increase the cost of those items, how are we going to benefit?
If Trump did what? I'm sorry?
If he's saying, if people are under the impression that he's going to reduce food prices, but that's not going to happen, then how do people think inflation or the food prices will decrease?
There's certain areas that through, greater supply that you can, address it if there is those types of scenarios. When you look at everything just bundled up all together, the overall prices, they're still going to go up. It's how somebody responds to it that I think is important, because there's like two schools of thought here: modern monetary policy, which is what the Democrats ascribe to, and then just traditional monetary policy or capitalism that the Republicans kind of anchor on. And the new school of thinking often thinks that it's okay to print money. There's no big deal. You're the government, so you can print as much money as you want. Debt to GDP is not a big deal. You can amass as much debt as you want, because the part they don't say is you can eventually cancel it. And then if inflation happens, their solution for inflation is to raise taxes. They don't say these parts directly because they're very counterintuitive and they almost don't make sense. But somebody has a published paper some time ago around these thoughts, and it's been the basis of what they've done in Europe and what they're trying to do here as well for quite some time.
And do you think his cabinet members are, he made the best choice with his cabinet members?
I don't know all of them, to be honest. Like the Secretary of Defense, I've never heard of that guy in my life. I don't know Matt Gaetz very well, so I'm like looking into him, listening to different clips of him and so forth.
How you don't know who Matt Gaetz is?
I know his name, but like, what is he all about? What has he done? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what he's accomplished.
He was going to be charged for ST.
So there are no charges at this point.
They were going to charge him. They were going to make the charges aware yesterday. However, he resigned on Wednesday. So they were not able to open up or review the charges for the public to know. And that's exactly when Trump tapped him on the shoulder to become the Attorney General.
So it wasn't charges that they held up. It was an ethics report.
No. They have been investigating him for several years.
Because the charges would be like law enforcement. Congress themselves had an ethics report that they've held off. Which, that's kind of questionable. Why would you hold off on that report?
Why do you think him and Kevin McCarthy had a problem?
McCarthy was kind of, one of the old garb Republicans, Paul Ryan style.
Yeah, but remember they had the argument on the floor
Yep.
of Congress? Yep. And you know why?
Tell me.
He wanted him to stop them from investigating him, and Kevin McCarthy refused to. But like the previous caller said, I don't think he's going to pass the Senate hearings either.
Okay. I don't know. We'll see. I'm skeptical of all the legal challenges that got thrown at Trump. I'm just skeptical of anything that comes out that's not fully reinforced. With actual law enforcement, somebody in law enforcement coming out there and, talking about it, saying this is an active investigation, whatever it might be. When I see that, then I'll take it very seriously.
But okay. But being that he had these charges, or convicted of these charges, that didn't concern. Sure, he has 34 convictions.
Oh, you're talking about Trump now?
Yeah. That didn't concern you?
No, not at all. They're bogus.
How are they bogus if he was found guilty?
So you know what he was found guilty on? Like what those charges were?
Yeah, I know.
All right, so what's your interpretation of them?
Falsifying documents.
Falsifying, okay. So what was falsified?
The values of some of his properties. And plus the hush money scandal.
So on the properties front, the banks themselves have, folks that go appraise the buildings. They do their own assessments, and they signed the documents and went along with it. There was actually no victim in the crime. They said that they had no problems with the valuations that were set.
After they inflated the cost of the properties?
Whether they were inflated or not, the banks agreed with him, and they provided him with whatever lending facility that he asked for.
So he had committed a crime?
No.
Regardless if the banks approved them.
So like it's like this, like somebody comes to buy my house and I say, hey, I think it's worth $2 million. And, somebody comes and estimates it and is like, yeah, it's $2 million. And the transaction goes through. And then many years later, the DA comes by and says, hey, I don't think your house is worth $2 million. I think it's worth 1.5. And then they charge me with something because I've falsified it. But then it's like, well, the guy bought it and he doesn't care. And we actually had an appraiser come in and they appraised it and they agreed with me. Like, what's the big deal?
What about the hush money?
What about that?
That he used campaign funds to pay it.
The problem with that is that he intermingled his personal finances by self-funding his campaign. And so that made it very difficult for people to be able to distinguish legal transactions that were made for business or for taking care of his personal stuff.
That's delusional.
No, it's not delusional. I mean, listen, this guy runs multi-billion-dollar companies. He's not watching transactions that are $100,000.
Okay.
Other people handle that.
A lot of people don't think that's so presidential. Like you have to pay off a P star in order to try to make sure the scandal doesn't come out because you want to be elected.
We can go down the list of unpresidential things that have happened over time.
Sure,
I mean, I acknowledge that. I don't like that either about him. I don't like that.
But you didn't consider that when you were voting.
No, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that's something that happened.
Okay.
But to me, it's like this. Like, if you have to get some surgery done, right? Like I had a broken arm. And there's one orthopedic surgeon that's like very nice and friendly. And he's like, I'm going to do my best. Like, don't worry, I'm going to do my best job. And I think everything's going to be okay. Do I want that guy or do I want the guy that's walking in, takes off his aviators, just jumped out of his Ferrari. And he's like, what are we doing today? Starts yelling at the staff to get moving. And he looks at me and he says like, this is a piece of cake. I do this, 10 times a day. Like, which surgeon do I want to work on my arm? The SOB or the guy that's trying to be warm and fuzzy and I don't really feel confident that he believes in himself?
So you would feel better even though the other doctor was arrogant?
I like the arrogant doctor 100%.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, he's going to get the job done. It may not be the way people like. We just have to acknowledge he's an SOB. I mean, it's just like that doctor scenario to me. Like, the outcome is what we really need to kind of focus in on.
I hope you get everything you wanted.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right.
I appreciate you sharing your thoughts too. All right, take care.
All right. Bye.
All right. What is going on over there on YouTube? I lost the chat. Sorry, guys. Gaetz is a good pick. Why does Congress have a slush fund for these people? You talking about their pension? Congressional pensions or what? I don't know. Let me check the analytics over here. 50, 54, 55, 65. Okay, coming back up. All right, not too bad. 10,000 over on YouTube. Got 1,000 over here on TikTok. Let's see. So anybody on YouTube, if you want to, just share your thoughts, ask questions, whatever it might be, jump over to TikTok. User handle is just PoliticalCow. hit the invite or the guest button there's an invite button on the screen. Just click on that. I'm more than happy to have you up. Chat about any thoughts on your mind. It feels like kind of a hodgepodge here because I'm trying to link a bunch of different networks together. I don't know if it's still running on the X platform. Hopefully it is. But anyway, let me see if I got anything good over here. Yeah, and for folks that weren't here a while ago, I asked my AI some of these questions that people are posing. Let's see. Hey, are you still there? I got to reset it. Hang on. It times out pretty quick because I guess it's hanging out to some resources that other people can't use otherwise. All right, So I'll ask it about the.
Hey, Masood, I'm here.
Hey, has Matt Gaetz ever been convicted of a crime?
As far as I know, Matt Gaetz has not been convicted of a crime. However, I don't have the latest info on any ongoing legal matters. If you're interested in finding out more, I'd recommend checking recent news updates. In the meantime, how else can I enlighten your morning?
Yeah, the AI, this one's current right now up to, the voice one, it's current up to October of 23 is what it told me earlier on something. But then miraculously it knows certain things, current events on, but I think it's just told October 23 is where its limit is at. So in a lot of these cases, unless something has happened between October 23rd, October of 2023 and now, I don't know, just shoulder shrugs here. I mean, you can have any kind of congressional report written. The Steele dossier that was put out on Trump, that was not a whole lot of, facts put into that thing. So, anyway, any questions on the YouTube side? Nope, I don't see anything there. Let me look at the chat here on TikTok, and hit the guest button if you guys want to come up and just share your thoughts. Don't need to have a debate or whatever. I'm fine answering questions if you guys want. No big deal. Mystic Wellness Spot, you are happy? Okay. Oh no, Simon, I missed the thing. All right, Simon, I will send you a sticker here, Simon. Sending you a Trump sticker. Boom, there you go. That one's for you. No more tax on overtime. Welcome to Trump's America. All right. Oops. Sorry, guys. Hit the wrong button there. All right. You also get a Trump sticker for that. People who think Trump will change their poverty level. I will give you a confused eagle for that one, because that made me think. Dear AI, is Pennsylvania counting illegal votes? You want me to ask it, Rompy? I'll do it right now. Hey, are you there, AI buddy?
Co-pilot on the case. What can I do for you, Ms. Sid?
Is Pennsylvania properly counting their votes right now? Are illegal ballots being counted?
I don't have access to live news or the latest updates, so I can't verify what's happening in Pennsylvania's vote counting process right now. If you're looking for up-to-date information, checking reliable news sources would be the best way to go. How about we shift gears? Anything else on your mind, Masood?
I'll let you know. That's all for now. Thanks. Someone said selective rage earlier. That's funny. All right. Let's see the ethics report on Gaetz. Yeah, I think we should see it. I mean, if there is one, let's see it. Because if it's valid, it'd be good to see. If it's not valid and there's nothing in there, potentially, I mean, then we'll know. Otherwise, it's something that's going to linger. But I wish Mike Johnson would explain a little more clearly why he doesn't want to have it released. I mean, that's a problem to me. If Trump can get the income tax removed, we'll all have more money. Yeah. Think you should replace it with a sales tax? Actually, you know what? Let me ask AI something here. Hey, what's the average salary of an IRS employee?
The average salary for an IRS employee can really vary depending on factors like the position, experience, and location. But as of the last few years, it hovered around $60,000 annually. This can change, so it's always a good idea to check more recent sources for the latest figures. Anything else?
So what is 60,000 times 87,000?
60,000 times 87,000 equals 5,220,000 million. That's a hefty sum. What else would you like to explore?
Wait, can you put that in something I can understand? Like you said 5 million, but can you use billions in that number?
Sure thing. 5.22 billion. That's the result of multiplying 60,000 by 87,000. Anything else on your mind this early morning, Masood?
No, that's it. So 5.22 billion. Thanks.
No problem. Anything else I can help with?
So it seems that the additional 87,000 employees, about 5.2 billion, is the price tag on that, which potentially would be unnecessary if we move to a national sales tax. So you potentially would get more revenue because you're taxing the consumption of folks that are wealthier that may have more things that they procure for themselves. At the same time, you know, everybody else gets a bit of a break. I don't know what the level would have to be to make this all work, but I mean, somebody could do the math, figure it out, or at least make a proposal. But that would be good. Increase tariffs, remove income tax, more money for us. Ooh. All right. Thanks for sharing the live, user 25 trillion, and giving it likes. Thank you for that. That's on TikTok. Let's see. Any questions on the YouTube side of the house? Nothing going over here, looks like. Yeah, I'm going to reload this page just to make sure I'm not missing something from you guys. Sometimes the live feed page stalls out. I tried going live on Instagram also, but within 2 seconds of going live, I get flagged for spam content. I have no idea why. So we'll have to see. Because I have a feeling I could do pretty good on that platform as well, but it just hasn't quite hit yet. Invites me a co-host. Okay, let's see who this co-host is. Okay. That didn't seem like a good situation for me. I decided to jump out of that co-hosting thing. And folks on YouTube that aren't familiar with the hosting features on TikTok, I don't know. I thought somebody that was doing a political live looked me up and sent something over. Rod, thanks for sharing the live. Hey guys, all right, I got almost 1,000 likes. but the follower or the viewer count is low. I don't know. When I couldn't afford anything but an RV to live in, I realized that I couldn't do anything but be right. Oh, ask AI what is the average household income for a family of 4? And the income taxes paid. All right. Let's see. Hey, buddy, I got another question for you.
Shoot, I'm all ears. What's your question?
What's the average household income of a family of 4, and how much tax do they pay?
The average household income for a family of 4 in the U.S. can vary widely depending on state, urban or rural location, and other factors. As of recent data, the average ranges from around $60,000 to $70,000 per year, but it really depends on various factors. As for taxes, tax obligations also vary widely depending on the family's income, deductions, credits, and filing status. Federal income tax rates for 2024 range from 10% to 37% based on income brackets, as well as other factors like property and sales taxes can also affect the total tax burden. Tax calculations can get complex, so it's smart for families to consult tax professionals or use tax software for personalized advice.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Cabbage is good. I don't know if we could work out that simple, because they didn't consider all the credits and deductions, child tax credit, earned income credit, so forth. Didn't count all that potentially. Anybody on the YouTube side want to jump over to TikTok to ask a question or to just kind of share your opinion with folks? All right, guys. I am going to close out the live here on TikTok. I appreciate you. Head over to YouTube. I'll continue for a little bit there. I'll catch you guys later. Okay, just checking out the stats on what's going on the TikTok end there. How long was I live for there? Oh, wow. 37 minutes. Jeez. That's like a long time.
Basically allowed the floodgates to open because they all knew they could come in now, and Biden got rid of the migrant protection.
Yeah, I never said I like Kamala. I lean to the left because I have to, because people on the right are fucking awful. Because the right side sucks ass that bad. Can you imagine? You think the left is bad? Why do you think people lean to the left? Because the right is so much fucking worse. If somebody is a bigot, a misogynist, a racist, it's in there. Wanna get?
This meme keeps popping up every now and then. It's a really ridiculous one. Yeah, all right, cut that audio. Okay. Back to the primary channels. I wish I could figure out a way of connecting in folks from YouTube to kind of come in and do some discussions. If you guys know, my contact info's in that link in my bio. Just send me a note. I'm curious. Because the only app that I know that does that is like TikTok, and then it's like you got to do this whole weird thing to connect everything in, and you can only do the TikTok stuff from your phone. It just gets a little difficult at that point. But let's see. Do we have anything else over here? Gaetz. More Gaetz. And then we ended with Megyn Kelly. Okay. Let's take a quick scan of what's going on Twitter for me. Let's see, what do we got here? Well, these are just notifications.
Feral. Well, the liberals have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, we do. I'm not going to sleep until I have made every MAGA in the 3-mile radius cry. We're going to do personal harm upon their psyches. Demure and mindful are out. Resisting while kicking and screaming are in. This channel is now dedicated to making sure they don't get away with a damn thing these next 4 years. They want to fuck around, we're gonna make them find out. You thought we were good at confronting MAGA bullshit before the fuck up.
Okay. Wow. Let's see if I can find this individual. Is this her? Same person? I don't know. What is this? Nancy Pelosi doing it? That's too much. I don't know what it is. That's too much. Where's the original? Okay. Where's that video of hers? Okay, I don't see it. All right. One TDS down, I guess. All right, guys. I think I'm going to be calling it quits here pretty soon. So, I appreciate everybody that's jumped into the live. Hey, let me get this over here. I don't even know the stats right now. YouTube.com. Go to my channel. Go to my live. YouTube.com. My analytics. Let's see what's going on. All right, guys, I'm going to close it out with the theme song. I appreciate you guys joining. Subscribe, like, share. Again, check out my my link tree in my bio. Has connections to all my other socials. And I'll be back online at another point in time, guys. See ya. Asking you